Hi. Oh, hi. I apologize profusely for that. As a matter of fact, we're going to start the show with a car crash. Welcome to the PigCast. We're here on a Tuesday, I believe. I had to double check. Thought it was Wednesday for a second, but no, it's Tuesday. Usually, as I like to mention, these PigCasts are not magic related. Usually. However, I've determined that a vast majority of you like to see magic related content. So I figured, why not dedicate one of the PigCasts that I run in the week to card magic, to coin tricks, to magic drama, to beef, to things going on in the magic community. However, the other PigCasts are dedicated towards things happening outside of magic. This is one that has to do with magic tricks. As much as it pains me to have to show you the things that we experience as magicians on a day-to-day basis by talking about the nitty-gritty of, card tricks and semantics of different ideals in the magic community. Alas, I figured that my audience is probably interested in magic tricks, seeing that this is a magic channel. So we're going to talk about some things today. Magic beef, of course. Beef of all kinds. Illusionist put a post that we're going to talk about. Illusionist.com, my former employer for a couple months, put on a bounty. They put on a bounty in regards to anyone that is... we'll talk about it once we get there. Due to Ekaterina, by the way, another magician that has a vagina. That's her, I don't want to say that's her main quality. She's a talented female magician that's been doing YouTube and social media for a while. An illusionist has a little bit of beef with her showing a trick. Now, here's the thing, and where I rely on the good research provided by the PigCake community, in that I hope that one of you could actually tell me the specific trick that Ekaterina has taken from Illusionist and shown, because I looked for it and I can't find it. I thought Illusionist was going to mention it. They did it in their article, but hopefully one of you guys could tell me, and we'll talk about that. Unbiased Magic Review is, of course, leaving a review about, not review. He left a not review over Christian Grace's new product, Enigma, which I believe is coming out now, if not has been out for a little while. As I've mentioned before, Christian Grace showed me this trick in my time abroad in England, and I guess we're going to talk about the just frankly retarded review or lack thereof that he postulates in his video. Also, I do get submissions from people on my email that send me various videos. I have one here that looks at a staff being used as a tactical weapon. I don't know if you're familiar with this magician appearing cane. I'm sure you are. You've probably never seen a vagina, but people use it and sell it as a weapon. And we're going to talk about that, as well as a cringe magic submission, which is actually a little bit of Inception, because we're actually going to be looking at what is I would say, a cringe submission. So the submission is cringe and the video is cringe. So it's the golden ratio of cringe. And also I have to show my book that's been out for a little while now, called The View from Down Here. It's a great book, unbiased, and you could find it linked in the description section below. I'm working on the new one called The Art of the Squeal. You could look at the cover on my latest video. I'm having a better time writing this latest one than The View from Down Here. Now, don't get me wrong, The View from Down Here is still a tremendous book, and you should pick it up. Wonderful bits on card magic, coin magic, just some good fun stuff. I don't think there's actually a coin trick in there. Mentalism and card tricks is essentially what you're going to find there, and I recommend it. Rave reviews so far, so people are really enjoying the book. However, the new one that I'm working at is obviously full of tricks, but there's a little bit more autobiography aspects to it that I'm enjoying writing out. I told a story of my first performance. I told another story about a trick that actually never took place. A lot of fun stuff that I'm adding to that book, and it's probably going to come out at the end of this month. We'll see. I really want to shoot for a bountiful book with that one, The Art of the Squeal. I'm really proud of the way it looks in terms of the cover and how deepfake technology has progressed over the years. But if you want the book that's currently available now, as well as the lecture notes, you can look at that in the link in the description section below. I highly recommend it. Now, obviously, because I'm a man of the people, I have to be here looking at the comments because I've been accused before of having the numbers and metrics get to my head. PigCake suddenly gets 50,000 subscribers, and all of a sudden, oh, you guys are now the plebeians. You guys are peons. So I'm no longer going to listen to what you guys have to say. No, that's not the way it works. I'm a man of the people. I'm one of you. So put your hand on the screen right now on my hand and know that we are one. We are connected via this virtual art of virginity. So don't think that I'm thinking less of you because suddenly my numbers are high, or because I'm a professional tweeter on X, rather. I've made some money on X, $18 to be exact, but that technically makes me a professional. So I've made money shitposting on Twitter, which I don't know what that says about society, but at least $18, that's gas for about a month on my motorcycle. Let's go. Piggy, love that's drama, but hopefully Piggy could get over the cringe illusionist blog post on magic bounty hunters. Now, don't get me wrong, magic bounty hunters sounds cringe as shit, and that concept alone, the words, the combination of the words, sounds fairly cringy. However, I do agree with the sentiment, I think. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Damn, it's Tuesday. I'll come back tomorrow, says MM, which maybe stands for Marshall Mathers, right? Oh, God, what a wonderful start so far. Seth Howard says the Magic Podcast hasn't put on an episode and out in 3 weeks, so I'm glad you're doing one. I haven't worked out today, so I don't really want to flex too aggressively, and I don't want to destroy my AOC cotton blend linen jacket, so I don't want to rip my muscles through the shirt. I'm going to work out afterwards. Don't you worry. But you see, your boy's Piggy's producing these. I'm producing these, baby. Now, unfortunately, I did want to do a Magic Podcast, an official one with sound, not necessarily a video one. But the person dropped out. He couldn't do it, and it's kind of unfortunate. I don't want to mention who it was, but it would have been top tier, I believe, had we managed to combine heads, but kind of unfortunate. I'm still out there looking. What I might do is I'll probably get people on, just random people every week. But for the time being, I'm doing these every week. I'll do PigCast. Obviously, I'll do the regular PigCast, and I'll have these to supplement the PigCast to talk about magic-related stuff only, as much as it pains me. Know that this pains me, and I'm doing this as a service to you guys as budding magicians. It's the cringiest thing I've ever read. Okay, says Hungry and Hungover, so he's doubling down. Do a Magic Podcast with JS. His co-podcaster doesn't do it with him anymore. Is that the one that you were referring to earlier? Magic Talk Live. I'll hit him up. I think we've exchanged a couple messages. He's from New York, I believe. She revealed Divorce or the Ring Thing by Garrett Thomas, but deleted it. Okay, see what I mean? Look at that. The PigCake community acquiesces to my demands. I was going to say to my rebuttal. Let me just give myself another one of these. I'm using highfalutin words to make me seem smarter, but I use them in the wrong context. So they're long words, but again, it doesn't really make much sense when you use them in the wrong context. But okay, so she revealed apparently one of those. I did see her do the ring thing that you pull through. So that might be something that I remember. Steve Brooksy says, let's see, another Magic Podcast. Ugh. I'm not even going to watch. Good. I prefer that. I actually do. I'm saying that without a sense of irony. I much prefer you watch the other ones than these Magic Podcasts. But I have all these rumblings in my head in regards to magic. So it makes sense for me to have some sort of outlet to ejaculate these postulations. You see what I mean by highfalutin? How much money will illusionists pay me to rat out Heartbeat, a trick from the Jinx, and put out by illusionist? Oops, Eric Trainer. You know what I might do? Actually, no, JK. I figured that he didn't show how to do it. Unbiased Magic Review. Of course, we have a fake version that fooled me once in the chat here today. Like an idiot, I forgot that fake accounts are a thing. And I made a whole post on Instagram saying, fuck you, Unbiased, because he, what I thought, made a derogatory comment, and really it was a fake account. So you got me. I don't know who runs that one. Steve Brooksy. I think it's you. I'm pointing at you. But in his new review with doing it for Enigma, he pretty much tells you what it is. He tells you exactly what the trick is, which is exposure. By the way, he pretty much exposes what the trick is. I guess, yeah, it is in the context of a review, and he is letting you know what you're getting or what you are thinking of getting. So it does make a little bit of sense. But he's the man that he's so against any sort of online exposure. Why the fuck would you go and pretty much talk in good detail as to what the trick actually is, what Enigma actually is? So that's kind of annoying. So what I'm thinking is, well, actually, no, Enigma doesn't belong to Illusionist. Ignore this whole diatribe. Unbiased review takes exception to your review of your book, says MM. I believe that. I don't think he'll touch anything of mine, but I've talked a little bit of shit about him. He hasn't responded, which is kind of annoying. I'd like him to make a video about me so I can make a video about him and, I don't know, just make fun of him and his elongated tongue when he speaks. But he did leave one legitimate comment on a video saying, "Stop exposing magic, you POS," and it was him. It was his account. But as you can see from the chat here, obviously, we have some imitators, and that wasn't the legitimate one. For example, here, Unbiased Magic Review says, your book was terrible. I'm not even going to review it, which is not true, because if you got my book, you would know that it's good. Although there was a mistake, and I did send revised copies to everyone that bought it, because I accidentally left out a piece of an explanation for an A can with 2 cards. I accidentally left out a piece. So I sent... If you bought it, I sent you an email with the updated copy. So look at that. It's updated. Some people have asked me, by the way, about physical copies of books. I do plan on making a physical book at some point. These are just easy on you, easy on me, and definitely less costly because there are going to be more costs when it comes to printing a physical book, obviously. However, I am going to probably do a physical book some time, maybe before the end of the year, but we'll see. It depends on how these go, but I'm having a great time writing these, and I'm getting a lot of good feedback from my books. But then again, I'm biased, so I'm biased, you get it? Unlike unbiased.
This is the neighborhood, and you are not welcome.
You're not welcome here. You are welcome here, Unbiased, if you are ever watching these for some reason. I'd like to have an argument with you based on I don't know, your definition of exposure that you've clearly destroyed on your Enigma review. Jack Keane says Justin Miller's divorce and a Brandon Wolf thing. Apparently, re-ECAT stuff. Okay, so Jack Keane doubles down on Ekaterina bit with Illusionist, which I guess we might as well get into. Actually, both. I could segue into both of these. I could segue pretty much into both of these stories, either Enigma or Illusionist. The Illusionist bounty is a little bit of, we're going to go through the actual blog itself, and we're going to go through, I guess, it sucks that she deleted the video because I kind of wanted to see it, but I think I've seen it. Now, I guess might as well be a misogynist and kind of rate ECAT, right? So I'm going to see if I could find a video, seeing that that's going to be part and parcel of what you expect from this channel, Ekaterina. Now, as I've mentioned before, female magicians, I always wonder what's wrong with you, right? I wonder the same with male magicians. Don't get me wrong. I'm equal opportunity here. But when it comes to female magicians, I mean, what's the point? Why do you want to get into something so disgusting like magic tricks? Men, I get it. You're desperate. You're lonely. You're looking for a way to, a social lubricant to be able to talk to people. But when it comes to chicks, you got social lubrication. They're called boobies. They're called derriere, a posterior. So you don't need those things. But ECAT, I would say she's one of the good ones. She's one of the good ones. My goodness. How many times have I said that? Right? Oh, he's one of the good ones. Okay. So I guess we'll look at her stuff here. She does have a YouTube channel. Her TikTok is not as padded as I thought. She doesn't get a lot of views on TikTok, which is where I saw her. And then I find out that on her YouTube, she has 400,000 subscribers. And then on Instagram, she has like 1 million followers. So I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. So she has a fat following. I didn't know that it was that fat. I didn't realize that. ECAT is a Montreal 5 and a 2 everywhere else in the world. I've seen it, says Maha. I don't know if I could read that name. It's like that scene in Liar Liar where I was going to say Steve Carey, where John Kerry. No, I'm retarded. Where Jim Carrey. Can't tell a lie. And then it goes, this pen is this pen is royal blue. Right? That's how I feel with that particular comment, Steve Brooksy. The issue with the blog post is that they had bullet points of what makes it okay exposure, but then also works with magicians and give them promo codes that do the exact opposite. It's all about numbers. There's no way, right? There's no way to accurately have a good take on that particular subject, apart from mine. I only have the good take on that. So we're going to get into that. I guess fuck it. Fuck it. We're going live. I'm going to go and we're going to get into the illusionist drama first. I was tempted by the fruits of unbiased magic review and his male nurse ways, but no, alas, we'll wait for that one and we'll get straight into the nitty gritty, which is the illusionist blog post they put out today. I'm a member of their newsletter. As, by the way, you should be a member of my newsletter. You could easily find it by looking at patreon.com/PigCake. You don't need to join the academy. You don't need to join anything. You could just sign up for free, and then you get a newsletter, which I send you out like just little bits, little bobs, little things that annoy me. Musings per se. Obviously with the idea to upsell you on things. I have to be honest, right? That's what a newsletter is for. It's to upsell you. Every time you sign up for a newsletter, it's not a free thing. It is free in the sense that you're getting content. Just like this, you're getting content for free. The YouTube, you're getting content for free. But it's all an upsell. That's kind of the way things are for everyone. So it's not just me. I'm just being honest about it. But let's go to this particular article. Bounty hunters for magic. According to their Instagram, they already paid a bounty out. So they wouldn't make a claim like that if they weren't honest. So here it says Bounty Hunters for Magic by G. Clark. I'm not about to begin to pronounce his name there. Geraint? I just call him G or Daddy. I call him Daddy. Even though Daddy did technically let me go. But it was amicable. It was an amicable and understanding let go. So I'm not really too prissy about that. Here it says, or we will be forced to repair. So he did something which I've never seen before. I see this done on videos all the time where you start with like a reaction and that hooks you in the first 3 seconds and then it goes into the bulk of the video. He did that with a blog. That's kind of impressive, I gotta say. So it says, or we'll be forced to report your content and take legal action against you, which you could surmise is a quote that he told Ekaterina. So it says, then she blocked us in a blatant act of defiance and, in my opinion, acknowledgement that what she'd done was wrong and she didn't care. Okay, let's rewind. Ekaterina, who exposes magic in 1-minute videos across YouTube and Instagram, just blocked us. We sent a 7-day copyright takedown to her YouTube channel for teaching content that we own the rights to. Now, that I'm interested to find out more about. Because I don't know how you could buy the rights to a trick. I know you could buy it from an individual and you pay them and you go, hey, here's my trick. But what legal standing do you have on that? I'm not sure. I'd like to ask G. Maybe I could get G for an interview. But I'd like to find out what specifically is legally binding about that particular transaction. But it is a shitty thing. It is a shitty thing. If you have a trick that somebody's developed, come up with the all the rigors of putting out a product and somebody shows it for free. That's shitty. So I guess we have to give some context here. Ekat, this is Ekaterina. I don't know if there's I guess might as well look at a video here. This week, okay, she does have ads on her stuff. Must be nice, right, to have ads on your video. Talking about playing cards. I don't know. I don't know what I'd say. Attractive for sure. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna kick her out of bed for eating cookies. That's not a good one. Very, I would say like a European. She has like a. No, not my type. I'm gonna be honest, but she has like a European sort of vibe to her, like a. She'd be the hottest girl in England, for example. Like if she's in an English club, I'd gravitate towards her. She's got like a nice foreign aesthetic. And especially in England, where all the women just have the fucking plump lips, the fake, and then the caked on whore's makeup, she'll definitely stand out positively among that. But I'm not a fan of that. I like ambiguously indigenous women. I like Latinas. I like what we refer to in the Spanish community as Indias. We like Indias. So I like sort of indigenous-looking girls that speak Spanish. That's my vibe. But I digress. Let's go back. She's been on a meteoric rise lately, and that's fine if she was doing it the right way. But the desperate need to feed the algorithm has forced her to take from our cookie jar. Illusionist ain't taking no shit. The sad reality is the fastest way to gain likes is exposing or showing your ass. I like that they quoted this, by the way. It's their quote, but they quoted it. Mixed magic exposure for a pretty girl, and you got jet fuel for for your fame fire. So they're talking about the Anna D syndrome here. Anna D is my type. That's my type, by the way. So if I were to quantify, I would say Anna D would be more aligned with what I like. And her last name is what I would want to give. Okay, let me just reset my video drivers. That whole little aside there. I also hate this. What's going on here? Sorry, let me fix myself. I know I shouldn't do this while the show is live, right? But it's bothering me. Oh, yeah, let me just do that. That's great. No, Piggy, come on. All right, that should lower it there. All right, so hopefully you guys should be happy with this setup here. So they have some contention with the fact that she's taught a trick that they bought the rights to. That I assume that means that they paid a magician for that particular trick that that magician developed himself. That's what I assume that means. Legally, I don't know how that's defensible. I don't know how that would be copyright. I have to get that explained to me because I'm retarded. However, here is where they outline their sort of ways that it's okay to show a trick. If it's public domain, if it's created by the artist who's teaching it, if it's owned contractually by the person distributing it, or shared with the permission of the creator themselves. Ekaterina isn't always doing that. She's sharing published items that are owned by us or the artists we pay royalties to. Every view for her is money stolen from our or the creator's pocket and stolen from you. If you pay for a drink, but the next 100 people get to sip it for free, then you're out of pocket too. So they're talking here with the honor system. As a legitimate, honest, supportive buyer, you're being stolen from. So they're making a little bit of, I would say that's a stretch in terms of the argument. But they're trying to make a point here as to the fact that if somebody is teaching it for free, technically they're taking it from you if you have gone through the trouble of purchasing said item yourself. So somebody could argue that. Stolen from you, they made that point. Competitors, so they talk about Murphy, Stereo 11, but YouTube is the competitor, as because YouTube has a lot, according to a poll that they did, of people learning magic from YouTube specifically, as opposed to paid things. Now, YouTube is great if you're subscribing to Daniel Madison. I don't like that they use Daniel Madison as an example here, right? That doesn't get me happy. Why don't they use PigCake? Huh. They mentioned me on the last one, as a matter of fact. Let's go back to that blog. Let's do some piggy news here. I think the one on the deck, they talked about me. They mentioned about the piggy deck. Decks are dead. And they talked about the missing piece deck, which I think I'm going to be on the verge of signing the contract within the next couple of days. By the way, just a little bit of an update. Let's see. I think they mentioned me here. Piggy. PigCake. Of course, I'm looking for myself, right? Come on, where is it? Oh, PigCake just got his deck funded on Kickstarter, right? So they talk about that, and they mention what's the theme. All have around 190 backers. Yeah, so it is a smaller amount of backers than normal. So that is a point to make, illusionist. But you should have talked to me, maybe made a little positive point. Thrown some views my way. If you're gonna give some eyes to Daniel Madison, right? He's got enough eyes on his stuff. I need eyes on my stuff. Now, YouTube is great if you're subscribed for Daniel Madison, a guy who's been there, done that, and has the skills and decades of teaching to back it up. Or it's great if you're on a budget and want to learn something that's public domain like a double lift or pass. We have no issue. But when it's to teach content that's behind our paywall or the paywall of other artists, is crossed the line. Now, I agree. I think I agree with that. If you are teaching stuff online, this is the retardation, by the way, of the argument that you have online when it comes to the idea of exposure. And yes, it's a stupid argument that you've heard about 1,000 million times. However, there is some contention, and there will always be contention on this particular point. Now, when it comes to exposure, exposure is the act, what I think, or what I know, because I'm a scientist, is when you are showing something deliberately. It's something that you know that is just for views. You are doing it deliberately. You are doing it intentionally, knowing that it is something that doesn't belong to you. You don't have a variation on. You're doing it just for the sake of getting eyes on it, right? A tutorial is different in the sense where you are trying to cater towards a specific audience and you are showing something. Now, in the tutorial, you could very well get into the territory of exposure. That could be something that you could get into the wishy-washy territory of. However, I do think that there is merit in tutorials. I do think that there's merit in showing normal, ordinary individuals that maybe have a passing interest in card tricks on YouTube. And some people disagree with that notion entirely. Now, Illusionist doesn't disagree with that notion entirely. They disagree with exposure, and specifically when it affects them. So when it hurts what they're making, which again, I agree on. If they paid for the rights, if they paid for, have some sort of copyright to a trick and that's being shown, yeah, that is shitty. Now, granted, I personally on YouTube have done a lot of variations of things. I've shown variations of different tricks that have been out and around in the magic community, different ways of doing things that I enjoy performing in a certain way. I think that's okay, but then again, I'm biased. Some people might not like that. I think that if I'm showing a variation, ideally, if I point to where it came from, people are going to go check that out and also have a different take provided by yours truly. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, is that to say that if there's a variation of a marketed trick that's very similar, is that not going to be exposure? That's where we get into a semantic battle. But as far as what I think that it's okay if you're doing tutorials for the sake of going to magicians. Again, there is an upsell. There's always an upsell. Don't ever delude yourself into thinking that there's not going to be some sort of upsell for anyone. But at least what I'm doing, it comes from a place of honesty. I want to be geared towards people that have an interest in magic, people that might have something that they want to learn, and I'm showing them a trick that they might enjoy performing for their friends or family, or, dare I say, in a professional setting. Exposure is the opposite. It's like the TikTok aids of, shh, here's a Rubik's Cube. Here's the flap. I'm going to show you this Rubik's Cube, and you could tell who I'm doing there. And it's now solved. Right, that I would say is a little bit on the exposure side of things, and not really done for any sort of purpose other than propagating your own shit exclusively. So again, there's back and forth on that. Here, they're salty because if they paid for something, why should somebody be able to go in there and show it? That's their argument. So let me go back here to the actual blog post itself. They actually have a bounty. So the whole point of this is that they've had a bounty where they'll be willing to pay people $20, $50, $100, or even $1,000, which I want to see what would be $1,000. But $1,000 if you have a trick that you find that somebody's taught on whatever platform, and you show it to the illusionist. So you send it to illusionists. So that they now actively have people going around being the arbiter of justice for illusionists, which I think is a very interesting approach. I can't imagine that a lot of people are going to see this in any sort of positive light. PPS, we won't be paying out bounties for channels with 0 or close to 0 views or subs, so you can't just upload and report yourself to collect cash. These need to be legitimate offenders. So there's obviously a view count threshold here. For any copyright infringers, if you want to avoid copyright strikes, you could remove the offending content yourself. So they're giving people the opportunity, if they have any sort of content that is offensive to their standard, for you to remove it. So there's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack per se. I think, yes, all right, I agree with illusionists. If they paid for it, then they should have every right to be able to send, cease and desist, or send, in this case, YouTube, whatever YouTube system has to say, hey, take this down. This is our trick. We bought the rights. Here's the proof. Boom. I think it's going a little bit too far with bounty hunters, because now you're going to have to get into what entails, and people are going to be sending illusionists, support@illusionist.com, a lot of shit probably that they're going to have to sort through and sift and potentially pay out depending. But I think it's an interesting thing nevertheless. Some people are going to disagree with it. I think it's interesting, and just a different thing. I can't imagine any other company doing this shit, like Penguin Theory, Murphy's. I can't imagine them doing this shit. But it's funny that Illusionist says, nah, dog, yo, send after the fools. Get after the fools. Pop them. Can you tell I'm very white? At least I talk very white. So let's look through the comments here and see what you guys have to say about it. I know I've skipped a couple here. She's Russian, says Corn Pop. Can we get bounty hunters on Rick Lax too? Well, unfortunately, Rick Lax, that trick, I think is from Murphy's. It's not Illusionist, so this only counts for Illusionist shit. Let's see, my pigga late, but I'm here. ECAT has lesbian magic hands. That, of course, is a reference to my disease, which I unfortunately have gay magic hands. The way you know if you have magic, gay hands rather, not gay magic hands, is make a coin vanish. So in this case, I'm going to give you an example. So this is how you know that I have magic gay hands. So watch this, right? Right? Magic gay hands, right off the bat. You know. Whereas if I did something like this, right? No magic gay hands. So you could immediately tell if you take a coin, just make a coin vanish and see how you approach the opening of the hand. If there's a little bit of like a zestiness, you have magic gay hands. And it's okay. It's okay. We're here for you. I have a support group. You could join a support group on Patreon. I know a lot about you, like why you're watching this ad. And it's specifically because you've looked up magic tricks. Well, hey there, my name's PigCake, and I've been doing magic trick tutorials on YouTube for the better part of 6 years. And I'm here to tell you about the PigCake Magic Academy with over 1,200 videos already uploaded, designed to make you an expert magician. You get access to all the content the moment you sign up, and I'm uploading every single week. As a matter of fact, I uploaded a video today. Just look at that list of moves, tricks, ideas that you're gonna get access to the moment you sign up. It doesn't end. As a matter of fact, I could stop talking completely, and the list is still gonna keep going. Just look. So check it out, the PigCake Magic Academy. The link is going to be below. I go with you, but I'm stuck in this video. But I'll wait for you to go ahead and click it. Go ahead, you know you want to. Nice, look at that. I squeezed in an ad in the middle of my reading your comments. I'm going to go to my happy place now, says Reverend Gaddy. I mean, she's Canadian, but her parents are Russian. So she's probably into puzzles then, because Canadians are into exposure sucks and it's not harmless, but it's 100% legal, says Reverend Gaddy. That's what I have to wonder, right? In terms of where their legal standing is. Now, I just want to know, again, I'm ignorant to law. I'm a magician. I'm, I have different interests in different things, but law is not one of them. So I'd like to know, where's Illusionist? Where's their standing of legal ground when it comes to sending like a cease and desist to someone like ECAT showing a trick that they have on their website. I want to know where they stand on legally, because if they copyright the trick, okay, all right, then you have some legal ground. However, own the rights to, that's generic. I don't know if that means that the rights from the creator, or I don't know what that means necessarily. I'd like to know. Let's see here. Did anyone see the exposure of Matthew Wright? I imagine you're talking about the Rick Lax one. Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not Illusionist. We did talk about that on the previous Magic podcast here, the PigCast Magic Edition. We talked about that one, and I came to the conclusion that I want to do a video where I get a Rick Lax trick and expose it. But the thing is that I have a good relationship with the boys at Penguin Magic, and most of the stuff he's put out is through Penguin Magic. So it'd be shitty if I took a Penguin Magic trick and then exposed it. And what if Penguin Magic has a bounty now, and then I get some dude trying to bounty hunt my exposure video of Rick Lax for Penguin Magic. So you see the golden ratio of retardation here. What's the difference in what ECAT teaches and what Piggy teaches on Patreon and on his YouTube channel? I think I already mentioned it. Although for the most part, from what I've seen in her videos, she does seem to show things that are very generic and in the realm of what Illusionist mentioned here, which is double lips, pass, snap change. She does certain things. Oh, here's a flourish. That's what I've seen from her mostly. Now, that's not exclusive. She does also have some times where she shows, for example, the ring thing and things like that. Or she'll show maybe that trick. I think the one where you pull the ring through, whatever that is, that might be divorce. I'm not sure. But there are times where she's done that. Now, granted, I have taught things that I shouldn't have before, that people have reached out and said, hey, this is mine. And we got into a little bit of a kerfluffle. And those summarily were solved. However, I think, as I mentioned before, the difference in what I do versus what you might see on TikTok and Instagram with generic magic exposure, like Rhodes, whatever his name is. What's his name? The Rhodes guy, Dan Rhodes. That style is that they're doing it again strictly for views, strictly for propagating their own shit. I'm trying to teach shit. I'm trying to teach shit to magicians. They're trying to use magic for a more generic audience to try to get those views. Now, again, you could make the argument that I'm kind of doing technically the same shit because I'm not going to be bitching and moaning if a generic audience were to come across my magic tutorials. However, the goal in mind is that I want to show magicians tricks, and I want to show people that are interested in magic tricks. Their goal is accumulation of views by using magic. So that's the difference. Let's go through here. Exposing a trick for free online equals bad. Selling a trick without permission, totally fine, says Steve Brooksy. So I think you're making a connection with the heartbeat bits, I think. Let me know if I'm right there. And then we can maybe get into that as well. Brass button, Rick Lax. Yeah, that's what we're talking about it with the brass shit. So that he showed how to do it on Facebook and whatever. So I don't know. I might still do the whole exposure thing where I expose, what do you call this, a Rick Lax trick. But again, I want to find something that's not on Penguin, which might be a little bit difficult because I think everything he's put out is on Penguin. Worst financial decision than Back to Black. Nobody who watches Magic Exposure was ever going to watch the trick. That is true. And that's an argument that I've had before with other magicians in regards to the people that were going to watch that were more likely than not going to buy that. So the argument before by other magicians in regards to, for example, magic piracy, and that, oh, because this person downloaded it, that equates to somebody having stolen it from you. And that's not typically the way it works, because that individual wasn't going to buy it to begin with because they're looking for it on a pirate website. So they weren't going to buy it. Or the likelihood is that they're probably not going to buy it. So it's the same exact thing when it comes to this. If somebody watches that, the likelihood is maybe they weren't going to buy it, but maybe they were. Maybe they were. Their argument in the blog is that it's taken it away from people that have purchased it. So the person that has purchased that particular thing, you're essentially stealing from them, which I think is a better argument to make because technically, yeah, you are right. You're teaching it for free. They paid for it. They did it the right way, whereas you're learning it without actually technically giving something back to the creator. So I get that. But the piracy argument, I think, is a retarded one because they're specifically on that website looking for that particular product. They were not going to get it to begin with. So it's not like they stole from you. They were never going to get it. Technically, it's shitty. I get that because they're putting it out and, it's not just, oh, I'm putting out a video. It's super easy. You're flying people out. You're developing the tricks. You're paying for, if you have a physical product, you're paying for the case, the packaging. You're sourcing things from warehouses in China. There's a lot of cost that goes into something so minimal. And technically, that's shitty. But again, you're getting to an argument when it comes to piracy. Let's see here, but you know what? I'll give you the Back to Black one.
You could stop at 5 or 6 stores, or just one.
Mark Sealhammer dropped a hot tenner. Good to see you, Mark. I believe you're a longtime Piggy fan, so you're out here dropping some hot dollarinos, and I've seen you around for quite a bit of time, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Mark, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I would argue that that's not a good thing because that means that you haven't been inspired by other things and that you're still into magic. My goal is to not have magicians. I want regular people. I want more normal people than magicians. But it is good to see you, Mark, and I appreciate you dropping $10 hot on me like I'm the local stripper during happy hour. The one-arm stripper at happy hour. The one you feel bad for, so you give her money. But I was a fan of the Back to Black. I'm more of a fan of what they're doing now, to be honest, than the Back to Black stuff. I know the Back to Black stuff was mostly an aesthetic rebranding, but this, what they've done so far, I think is better because it's more underground shit. So they're going to New York. They're doing a project with, who's that hot guy, mixes cards, Ben Earl. Right, they're doing a project with him. They're going to France. They're going to Spain. They're going to, in England. They're going to conventions. They're sourcing out underground magicians. I like that. So I like what they're doing with that. But I think the Back to Black thing was mostly an aesthetic change. Let's see. The book Maxim Entertainment talks about magic gay hands, but it's called something else. The book's old. That's funny. But
You could stop at 5 or 6 stores or just one.
And he didn't have a quote. So Reverend Giddy dropped a hot $1, and he didn't have anything to say. But what I have to say to you, Reverend Giddy, is again, thank you for treating me like the local stripper with one peg leg, I guess, that you feel bad for. And she's really trying to get through college because she's a registered nurse. Why are all strippers registered nurses, by the way? Let me know in the comment section. So... is ECAT a supporter of Ukraine or Putin? I'm pretty sure she's probably apolitical. But I wouldn't know. You could patent gimmicks, but it's absurd to even consider doing so. I think so, yeah. That's the other argument, right? For example, something like Tarantula. That's like the pen with the ITR on it. Okay, I understand. You get a patent for that. If somebody infringes on that patent, you could technically go after them. Now, again, unfortunately, the problem is that they're infringing a patent in countries that aren't the country of origin of the patent. So now you have nefarious dealings with international copyright law, which I have no idea about. But a trick, a move, an idea, how do you own the rights to that? I don't know if by that, do you just strictly mean that it's something that you pay the creator and now you own the rights from the creator, or is this something official? I'd like to know that. So I might ask him myself and to do some journalistic work on that. You teach magic, but are okay with bounty hunters going after people teaching magic. Well, it'd be funny if they find shit that I've done, that I've taught incorrectly. That'd be great. That'd be funny. An illusionist put me on blast. They go, oh, PigCake taught a trick, and we got him. We got his ass. We got his tiny ass. Well, I'm iffy on the bounty hunter bit. I'm iffy on it. I think it's interesting, is what I mentioned. I think it's interesting, and I think that it's a novel approach to this particular issue that illusionist has. I'm not sure if I'm for it because I think it's air for abuse. Like it has a lot of opportunity for abuse, but I'm not necessarily against it either. So I think we just have to see with time. But if I taught something incorrectly, then I fully expect somebody to come after me and go, hey, yo, Piggy, what you doing, bro? And then have the illusionist gods give me some CBT, which is cockball torture for those of you guys that aren't or that aren't cultured. Steve Brooksy, hot take. Every trick with a physical product should have a tutorial free. If the gimmick is good enough, exposing it shouldn't make me not want to trick like anniversary watch. See, but I also agree with that, right? Something like, for example, a wallet. I wouldn't necessarily think that there would be an issue of going, okay, so here's the wallet. This is what you'd be getting. You'd be getting a wallet that has this as that, and then it has this feature. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but you need to buy the wallet. It's not going to be easy for you to make, and if you go through the trouble of making the wallet, then goddamn, bro, fuck it. Might as well, if you're going to go through the trouble of making it to begin with. But I think that shouldn't be an issue. But magicians do have a very big issue with that. Although what I've seen recently from a lot of magicians and manufacturers is that they show you the fucking gimmick. They show you the gimmick. So they'll show, oh, here's the little secret thing that you have. Here's the technology that goes into the notebook and in the pen, and they're showing that more often. So I think that's a good thing because it lets you know what you're getting. You're getting this particular type of product. So I'm not sure, but I don't think anybody. By the way, let me know if when I touch it like this, is there any feedback or anything? I know that somebody has told me that before, but I'm trying not to touch the microphone. And also, it's a phallic thing, and I'm trying not to regress back to when I would have to suck them down. You know what I mean?
This is the Gaberhood, and you are not welcome.
It's hard. It's hard not to want to swallow this. Soy, is it me or the only one that wants to bang ECAT? Just putting it out there, says Jason. I wouldn't kick her out for putting her hand on my thigh. I definitely wouldn't. Just not my type. I don't like white girls. I don't like those like European white girls. I like ambiguous indigenous girls and Latinas. I like Latinas because they got dump trucks. And even if you don't got a dump truck, I'm still a fan just because. I don't know. It probably ties back to the whole CBT thing. Let's see here. Steve, I thought the Anniversary Watch Project approach was pretty amazing. I wonder how it worked out for them. And Mark Sealhammer has some hot bits on patents and stuff where he says, anybody have a good primer on intellectual property law as it relates to magic? For example, do you need to get a patent for a method? Who actually takes the approach? Now, if you have a patent, you have to teach it in the embodiment of the patent. As such, keeping the methods is trade secret is the approach. But once you sell trade secret, then it's public domain, right? So there's iffiness, right? There's iffiness. And I don't think you could patent in like, let me patent this movement, right? Let me patent that. But there's a lot of iffiness when it comes to that. And I just want to know specifically what's it mean to get the rights. What does it mean to get the rights from for the trick that illusionist refers to in that blog post, which leads me into unbiased magic reviews. Unbiased magic reviews. They left one comment, or he rather left one comment on a tutorial video that I made a while ago in regards to I think a voodoo trick. Is an old voodoo trick where the corner, so you tear up a piece of paper in 6 and the edges essentially act as markings. So you can know which one contains the dead name, which in 2023, a dead name is something else, right? Okay. So Mark says, so you know which one contains the dead name, usually used in like a dead or alive test per se, whatever. And he left a comment saying, oh, stop exposing magic to the masses, you POS. No. All right. That's not what makes me a POS. Okay. There's a lot of other things that make me a POS, and that's not one of them. Okay. So
be better, be better, be better, be better.
Speaking of. So, Unbiased Magic Review left a video saying why I'm not buying Enigma by Christian Grace. Now, as I've mentioned before, I had Christian Grace perform Enigma on me when I was in England. I thought that it was a striking effect. To the point, as a matter of fact, where I have it in my book. I have a chapter dedicated to my time in England in my new book, the Art of the Squeal. I have to think about it, my goodness. And I dedicated a little part to it from Christian Grace, where I talk about my particular experience with that. Let me read that to you right now, seeing that it is relevant. Let me go back here. My goodness, so much. Look at this. Look at this right here. This is all book content. I don't want to show it too hard. Open prediction. Nope, that's not it. Okay, here it is. So what I wrote about my experience was there were some effects this year that really blew me away. And this is, by the way, before I even knew Christian Grace and spoke to him more after. So I just briefly met Christian Grace in England. This is without knowing him, apart from what I write down here. So I wrote down, there's some effects this year that really blew me away. However, Enigma by Christian Grace was the best. It was the cleanest revelation of a thought of word with no visual compromise, apart from the necessary memory for the method. His personality was infectious. However, I'm also 90% sure he just wanted to fuck me. So I still believe that. I don't know. It just felt, I got a vibe. When we're talking. I'm like, you want to sleep with me? But he has a girlfriend, so I'm not sure. All right, I digress. The point is that I thought it was one of the better effects that I've ever seen. I thought it was the cleanest mentalism that I've ever seen, second to Peter Turner doing his revelations of words and names and star signs and whatever. Now, yes, there is a method. Yes, there's going to be some phishing. There's going to be something. There's some compromise. Granted, when I saw it, I thought that the compromise was great because it's silent compromise. It's this sort of thing that you do with your hands, where you're touching his hands, and you're sort of doing certain actions that give him information. But it just looks good, and it's a cool visual. And if you're coming and you're watching somebody perform that, it looks like what mind reading should be. This tactile thing. So I think it's great. Right? I think it's wonderful. Now, the method. Yes, there's a method. It does use an app. The app helps you. Christian didn't use the app when he did it with me. He just fucking knew it. He didn't. He had his phone that he briefly took out for about a second before the performance started, and then he put it away, and it was never active. He didn't take it out. He didn't peek at it. He just knows the method, so he did it. I thought exactly what I was thinking of. I was thinking of a glass, and he fucking nailed it. And I was shaking with just, I don't know, nervousness as to what else he knew. Maybe he found out about my CBT addiction, but unbiased, decided to leave a video talking about as to his take on the whole matter. Now, the app is expensive. I believe it's 150 pounds, so you could do the translation there. It's an app that aids you with the trick. It shows you, what the options are that the participant is likely to think of. And some people are obviously upset at the fact that Christian Grace didn't just blow out the method. He didn't just talk about the method and mention what it is specifically that is in regards to the method that allows you to nail pretty much a thought of word. I think that's a retarded take, especially when it comes to this, because that's essentially what he's selling. Essentially what he's selling is that. Now, granted, the app does help, I would say, 95% of the way. If you choose to go through the trouble of memorizing the certain things that you need to for the trick, then you don't need a fucking app, really. But I'm telling you right now, Christian, when he performed it for me, didn't need the app. He just knew. And it was upsetting to me. Now, he goes on, and my point here is the hypocrisy of Unbiased Magic Reviews. That is one of these people that are of the belief that anything that's teaching magic online is exposure. Now, granted, he has performed tricks that I would consider exposure because he performed them like shit. I would consider that exposure. But that at that point is just me being petty. But let's just go to the video and see certain things that he has to say, where he pretty much says what exactly the fucking method is, which is very obnoxious. And also, I apologize for the ear molestation there, because he, for some reason, copies and pastes his sound, and it's peaking.
Called Enigma. Now, before I get started, it's important that I emphasize that this is not a magic review, and you should understand that everything I tell you is my opinion. I urge you to do your own due diligence, verify the things I tell you, find out more details about this stuff. I think Christian Grace is an excellent magician.
Another little tip here, by the way, the glasses. Those don't make you look any good. You want to have, at least if you're trying to, he's someone that seems to keep up with his appearance, fresh haircuts, groomed. I'm sure if I look at his nails, they're probably going to be immaculate. He's shaved, right? There's no shadow, so he's obviously somebody that cares about his appearance. You got to change the glasses, man. You got to change that. That makes you look like you repair laptops in Beirut, right? These glasses, they're not good. They make you look like a male nurse. They make you look like, I digress.
I've done several reviews of his material on my channel. You can go and watch them. They're all positive. Like his effect, Inevitable Choice, I did a review of it and said that it was great. I urge people to go and buy it. Several people that follow my channel have asked me about Enigma over the past 2 weeks, and that's because this has been getting hyped up on the Magic Cafe. Christian Grace did put out a teaser trailer where the effect looked like this amazing mind-reading effect, which was absolutely impossible, where a magician told a spectator to think of any word they wanted and to mentally transmit it to them, and they could read their mind right then and there. But the reality is that what you saw was just a very, very small piece of what the effect really is. And so it's actually quite misleading in that way. And the basic method is really clever, although I think the execution was not good. And that's because this is definitely not user-friendly. And contrary to what other people will tell you, it's not practical at all, because it's extremely procedure heavy for what you need to do. And yes, it does use technology.
Okay, now let's talk about what he said here. Now, I don't want to take things out of context in terms of taking his words out. But what I am getting from this video is that David, I think that's his name, he sees this particular trailer and is sort of upset at the fact that the trailer isn't necessarily showing 100% of the picture. Now, granted, what you're getting is an app that helps you do this trick. I've had this trick performed on me. I've, seen it performed on others, and seen Christian Grace essentially destroy people's minds with it, as he did with me. I like Christian Grace. We've talked, we've collaborated on some videos. I think he's a wonderful guy. I think that he's the type of person that wouldn't ever be misleading in any way whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I feel like he would be overly sharing of certain things. Now, granted, for this particular thing, it is a magic trick. It is a secret. We know how the industry works, right? So for something like a wallet, as I mentioned before, I wouldn't have a problem with if the owner's okay with it for a review to maybe mention certain characteristics about the wallet, certain things that you'd be getting, certain features, because it's something that, well, you have to buy anyways. With this, really the method is what you're getting. Now, the app obviously takes 95% of the work in terms of telling you what certain things are, guiding you towards figuring out what the participant is thinking of. But you could very well perform this without the app. It takes work. Yeah, obviously. Anything that requires memorization takes work. But did not show it in a demo. You kind of have to expect that when it comes to Magic, especially now. I would probably argue that 95% of Magic demos don't show you the whole thing. And that's on purpose because, well, what they're selling is primarily a method. So for you to come out and say, oh, it's misleading in that sense. Okay, you could argue that it's misleading. But every Magic video is misleading if you're going by that definition. So he also, let me go back here. He also mentions
friendly and contrary to what other people
that it's not user friendly. So I would argue against it. I think that if you want to learn it, it definitely uses a method. It is going to take some work. It's not going to be something that you're going to get right off the bat. But once you get that work down, you're going to have an immaculate effect that takes just a concept and blows it out the water, of having this wonderful idea where you could go up to anyone, have them think of a word, something they could hold if you want, and tell them what they're thinking, which is essentially true mind reading. Now, there is a process. There is this process that you have to go through. But that's what mind reading should look like. It should be a process. It should be something that you have to put effort for. Because if not, why can't you just read everybody's mind at any given time? So now you're getting into an argument about what mentalism or what entails mentalism. So I just think that the approach to this particular review or not review is a little bit dumb. And he's just salty because I firmly believe he's just being a contrarian. I think so. I think he's being a contrarian, especially looking at some other previous reviews that people didn't like that he likes. And this one, which a lot of people tend to like, that he doesn't like. Now, there is a lot of people that agree with him, as you're going to see in the comment section. But I do think that the hype of this is well warranted because it is one of those tricks that is going to change the game somewhat. I do firmly believe that. But let's go through the comments here and see what you guys have to say about that. Jumping John, I just saw you give a little heart emoji. A little bit, zesty. But this is the...
This is the Gaberhood, and you are not welcome.
Let's go through here. There's a lot of comments, so let me not skip any of them. Okay, so the last one, Teller wins lawsuit over copied magic trick performance in 2014. That's Jason Magic. So you give an example as to when a magician won a case with Teller specifically. So I guess it is possible in some courts. They probably have the rights to exclusivity, meaning that they're the only ones that could produce and sell said effect. Okay, that could be another one. Again, I'm looking for an explanation here. Maybe I could ask illusionists themselves. So I'll ask G and say, hey, man, what's the deal with this? Or what do you mean by rights? And maybe he might be able to elaborate more, or he'll definitely be able to elaborate more because he wrote the thing. But I just want to know. Again, I'm being ignorant here. I do magic tricks online, right? I'm a virgin when it comes to magic, but not women. I'm not a virgin when it comes to women because I slam puss, dude. Which one? Okay, I think that was the best one. I don't know the method, but I feel like UMR was pissed because Enigma is not an actual miracle. Now, I agree with that 100% because the problem with, I think, magic, and I know, the problem with magicians, especially the ones that tend to post on forums, is that whenever a trick gets a lot of hype, they build this image in their heads that is impossible. That is absolutely impossible, impractical. Every word that you could imagine here, that is never going to be what the trick actually entails. Never in a million years would that trick ever reach the standard that these people want. And for example, something like that A-can trick that Craig Petty put up, where it was a very clean method of doing any card, any number, and you had magicians just losing their minds when they found out that the method isn't this perfect thing that they had in their heads. And that's most magicians that tend to post on these hype trains when it comes to these tricks. That's just the nature of the game. A lot of people want an actual miracle, but a lot of times what you're getting is a thing that has a fucking method. Now, every time you're getting a thing that has a method, you're having something that has compromise. Every trick has compromise. It's not going to be what the ad copy reads. It's going to be close to it, though, I imagine. But it's still going to be erring on that side of semantics to sell a product. You shouldn't have to explain this to people, but unfortunately, some people don't get it. Let's see here. The woman in Christian Grace's video is his sister, not his girlfriend. Well, I think I've seen his girlfriend or wife. So, although I still got the feeling that he wanted to have intercourse with me. Would you rather spend a night locked in a room with Christian Grace or Brad Christian? Well, I think Brad Christian because he turns off the Brad turns off the what do you call this? Any Wi-Fi when he's sleeping. So I rather do that and sleep in the quiet than have to fear for my the sanctity of my butthole with Christian Grace, because he'll definitely be the top. Let's see. Totally unbiased, as I call people pieces of shit, and he's a wannabe and trying to write somebody else's success, and it's ugly, says Reverend Daddy. 34 viewers. PigCake, you've reached a career high in viewership. I had a couple streams that were like 100. I had a couple hundred, not a couple hundred, but 100 something people watching. So I'm up there. I've been up there. He's a medical doctor. He is a doctor. That's how he performs so much. I thought he was a nurse. Oh, I thought he was a nurse. Who told me he was a nurse? I've been making fun of him forever. That saying that he's an RN. Somebody told me he was an RN. Maybe. I need to find that out. But I've been told by a couple of people that he's an RN. So I might be wrong on that. I might take an L on that. I love you, Piggy, but you're unironically being a little biased here. You thought of a glass. Sean Farquhar thought of a stethoscope. Christian had to use the app for that one. And Sean uses the app in his stage show. Every performance will be different. Yeah, no, exactly that. You're right on that. You are going to have to use the app for certain takes on it. Christian does use the app himself from what he's told me. However, I think that its use is extraordinarily minimal. It's nothing that requires anything that would be outside of the ordinary. And I believe in this video, he goes into why he rather use something like Inject rather than something like this, where you could do a similar effect with Inject, but it's not going to be the same thing. It's going to be a different thing. So I guess we'll get into that when we get into that. But no, you're right. You're right. I am biased, and I'm saying that, fully understanding that I consider Christian Grace to be someone, not a friend, but definitely more than just cohorts. We are amicable, and I want to be his friend. I think we're friends. Your forehead looks like my scrunchy ball sack. Does it? I realize that my hair is growing out. I might get a burst fade. But here's the thing. I might do it myself. So I'll let you know how that goes. Didn't you used to post videos talking about magicians like Danny D'Artiste, says Hungry and Hungover? So we have some beef here. We have some beef, dog. What's going on, Hungry and Hungover? Did you put videos about Danny D'Artiste? According to Magic Talk Live? Huh? Were you talking about his weight? Huh? He smells like pot. I'll give you that one. I'll tell you that. Danny D'Artiste, when he walks by you, it just smells like marijuana. Mark Steelhammer says, Piggy, your glasses look just like David's. No, I have the serial killer rapist glasses. I have the serial killer. If you look at these with the bridge, right? I don't know how that shows up on camera, but these are the rounded sort of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer glasses. What he has are rectangular. I used to have those, I know, and I look like an idiot. I look like I've never seen a naked person in my life. And they had this thing, and again, I don't want to look like I do IT. You're wearing the same glasses as Magic Talk Live. They're okay. Let me just mention this right here. His glasses are rectangular. These are I don't even know. Oval would be more of an oval shape. They're Jeffrey Dahmer style glasses. Old school, I guess. I don't know who else, but they're the best way to describe it is serial killer on the registry. Is that gunk? Or is that glue? Hold up. I'm going to be disgusted if this is gunk. That might be gunk. I need to clean that. Ew. Ew, dude. Have I really been walking around with this gunk on my glasses? No way. I hope that's residue from the actual glue and not gunk. Oh, it is gunk. Ew. Okay, I need to clean these better. That's gross. There's like weird... I don't even know what that is. But it's like lint almost on the little bridge. Not the bridge, the little nose guard. Ew. Okay. Either way, they're different glasses. Okay, they're different. His is a rectangle. Do we have to go through pre-K where the rectangle goes in the rectangle hole, the triangle goes in the triangle hole? Fuck. The fact that they could think of any word and they never tell you is amazing, says Steve Brooksy. But again, I could see that there are certain points against that. You sort of push them towards a word of something they could hold to make it easier on you, but technically it could be any word. Kristen Grace did show me that when it came to that. But glue, says Grass-Fed Gary. Grass-Fed Gary, of course, implying cum is on my glasses. It's not cum, okay? It's not cum. But... you're right in the sense that magicians expect a miracle, and when they get something that's not, they have an issue with it. And in this case, I guess that might be the case here. And let's go back to the video and see what he has to say. Oh, oh, gotta reset the video drivers. Sorry, that's my favorite part of every stream.
Tell you it's not practical at all because it's extremely procedure heavy for what you need to do. And yes, it does use technology. So I don't own the effect. And you're probably wondering, well, how do I even know about this? Is because a close friend of mine got early access to it. So I have firsthand knowledge of this effect. I've seen it. I know how it works. I understand the whole premise of the effect, the method, and what you need to do. And that is the reason why I'm not buying it. And I wanted to put this out as a heads up to you guys so that will help you to make your decision.
Skip that part.
So
All right.
you can even watch video testimony on YouTube where people are praising this left and right. So let's get into my main reasons
2 hands
for
and loves
why
blowjobs.
I'm telling you guys that I will not be buying this. And instead,
dude, come on, man.
add a code information to the app. So it's not user friendly, like I said. And part of that goes into play.
Okay, so this is retarded because he says you have to code information into the app, and then he mentions that inject is a great alternative. But inject, you have to code information into the app. It's the same shit. On inject, you're doing the exact same shit. If you're doing the method where you are doing the type thing, you still have to code information into the app. There's still this visual compromise. So for you to say that inject makes direct use of the phones. Now, granted, he hasn't mentioned that yet, but he did mention here that you have to code onto the app. For Christian Grace's effect, the phone is not part of it. The phone is just incidental. It's there as a thing that you use for maybe a certain couple words. But it's not, hey, get your phone, look for this particular thing, or I'm going to get my phone, look up this particular thing. It's not that at all, where the phone is sort of the center of this particular a trick. For Enigma, the trick is this. This is the trick. Hey, think of the word. All right, great. You got it? Think of this, think of that. That's the trick. And the process, by the way, that he says is a labored process. It's not a big fucking process. Maybe it took a minute and a half. But that's the trick. That's the fucking trick. So I don't get what the point is here. Let me get to the point where he's praising inject and saying inject is that. You have to do the same shit. You have to code the information and inject. So I don't understand what point he's trying to make here, saying that, yo, you have to code it in the app. Yeah, that's every Magic app, essentially. I do Magic and I'm on IT/cybersecurity, says Matt. Yeah, but the key is you don't want to look like it, right? You don't want to look like that. And by that, I mean getting glasses, rectangular glasses where the bottom is naked, right? Or even rectangular glasses. Those don't look good on anyone. Even the faces that would cater better to it. You want to get something like the Superman ones that I got. These are pretty good, although I do have a very round face. So round glasses might accentuate that face. But the key is not to look like you're an IT nerd. Because being an IT nerd entails being like a level 68 warlock in World of Warcraft. Now, it's good that I wasn't accurate when it came to that particular statement. The more inaccurate I am when it comes to my references to video games, the better I am as a person. So keep that in mind. Dex says September 18th, says the Magic Buzz. I'm not entirely sure because I didn't meet up with Lloyd Barnes when he was down here. It wasn't on his schedule. He was in Fort Lauderdale anyways, which is not Miami. Fort Lauderdale is not Miami, so it's a different thing. There's no beef, though. I thought it was quarantine, and I was wasted posting clips of his Penguin Lives praising him as the best. That's hysterical. Let's see here. Grassrooted Gary says glue, obviously referring to my my gunk on my glasses. If you perform Dex and Enigma, people will think you have real powers. I'm actually not super familiar with Dex. I'm not super familiar with it. Obviously, I know it's an index, but is it just something that you could just, oh, well, bam, bam, and then get a card? Is it like one of those tools?
In that, it was done.
Someone just subscribed, I guess. That's why Brad Christian just popped up on my fucking screen. Unbiased Magic Reviews says, I trolled the real Unbiased by telling him that a trick that he released with no memory work had too much mental math. If he responded, you fucking got him. You owned him for those 10 minutes. I can't imagine who would be a friend of UMR and Christian Grace. That's funny. Well, Christian, he's a super sweet guy, man. He's, as I mentioned before, he's very infectious when it comes to his positivity. And that was so weird because it was just this ball of energy. It reminded me a little bit about Eric Leclerc, hanging out with Eric Leclerc. But Eric Leclerc is more like a carrot top in the sense that he has like gags and props, and he has things that he'll pull out of your anus, probably. Christian is just that way with his mouth. That makes me sound like I want to have sex with him. But he's that way just with his dialect and the way that he approaches things, and it's infectious, and you kind of get that energy. And when he's showing you a trick, he showed me that trick with the timer, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with, but it's a wonderful trick where it's like an any card, any number, but he has you come up with a card, and then he times you. And then when you look at the seconds that it took for you to come up with that card, you deal that appropriate number of cards out, and that's the card that you were thinking of. So it ends up at that exact number. Stupid trick. Just ridiculous. And as he was performing that to me, it's just the energy and how he was performing was really infectious. So I remember that specifically. But I can imagine being friends with Christian Grace. I can imagine also being friends with UMR, and it's probably exhausting. Let's see. The effect isn't for me. I could get the exact outcome with bits of paper. See, that's a viable argument to make. I think that would have been a better argument. I could do the exact same process, right? But with a piece of paper. I think that would have been a better argument. But here, he makes the argument in regards to inject, and it being inject a better trick. But no. They're completely different things. And Enigma, you're getting this. This is the process. You're going through this process. You're figuring out a word. But a better argument would be you could just do a center tear saying, hey, do me a favor, write this word down. I'll tell you what, are you someone that could visualize things better? Are you someone that could actually visual? Are you more visual when it comes to writing things down? Well, we don't need this. Hold on to those papers. Put them away in your pocket. But just do me a favor. Just touch your hand with mine, and then you're into it, right? That would have been a better argument. But that's not what David meant. David had an argument where inject is a good alternative to this. And it's not. It's a different thing. Fuck me. When you said IT nerd, I thought of invisible thread. Boy. Steve Brooksy, you have earned the pin of shame for that virginal comment. That might be the most virgin-filled comment I've ever heard in my entire life, and you deserve it. You deserve it. Man, boy, I don't know what would have been worse had you actually, just sounded out what IT actually stands for, or that you thought that IT stood for invisible thread. I don't know. I think magicians are always focused on the newest, fresh methods, but honestly, a billet peak done right or empath is the same effect as Enigma. That could apply to 100,000 things. That could apply to 1,000,000 things. But you're right. That would have been a better argument to make. But that's not the argument that was made by our boy, David, from Unbiased Magic Review. And unfortunately, my pin of shame is the same as my screenshot. Maybe I should change that shortcut. But that's my bit, I guess. You could watch the video that he put out if you want to. I've already made the points that I was going to make. But I just think that magicians get overhyped when it comes to certain things. As far as Enigma, if you are looking for a trick where you have a very novel method as to figuring out what a participant is thinking of in terms of a word, then by all means, get Enigma. Right? But if you think that you could do better with whatever alternative, then you weren't going to get it to begin with because you already have the alternative. But I think that regardless, it's still something that blew me away. It's something that I think was probably one of the greatest things I've ever seen, one of the greatest things I've ever had done in terms of magic. The best thing I've ever had done to me was probably a fellatio one time. But in terms of magic, I think it was one of the best things I've ever seen. And if you're going to get it, you're probably going to get it regardless of what somebody like Unbiased Magic Review would say. Now, this one is kind of nuts. We've only gone through 2 topics here. But the next one was sent to me. And this one is in regards to a magic staff. Now, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the appearing cane. I mentioned earlier that I'm sure you aren't familiar with the appearing cane, but I'm pretty sure you are because you're a magician and you have a hard time looking at women naked, so in person. And an appearing cane, obviously, you have a silk, you throw it up, and it turns into a cane. On TikTok, certain people have taken selling this as a means for self-defense. So using it as a prop where you could defend yourself because they do sell the appearing cane in metal. This is dumb. This is retarded. So these guys go after and they examine that from a point of view of martial arts, and they go through it, which I think is a very novel video. I love Asian women. Right, so here's her throwing it. Oh shit. They got the levitating one. You know, that shit looks stiff. I gotta tell you, the metal one looks a little bit stiff. Definitely more stiff than the plastic one. I had like 2 of those and I've lost them both. They're one of my favorite things to do. Just randomly to people. I love just going, hey, and just having a fucking cane for no reason. But that one looks aggressive. Like, you could definitely cut yourself with it. But as a staff, no, for sure. You're an idiot if you think that this is going to defend you. It's like shitty aluminum. Or aluminium, as you fucking inbreds like to call it. So I think he gives a little bit of a stress test here. Yeah, you could tighten it, though. You could technically swing it. You just have to tighten it. Again, because I've owned one of these. Not the metal one. You could fix that, by the way. That's happened so many times. You just push it in there, and it works out. But I want to see when he hits it. Right? This kind of impressed me when he hit the tire that hard and it didn't break. I was kind of impressed at that. But then you see it, and essentially it's busted. So it doesn't work. But what's great is that on TikTok, I did show a video. I should have done a little bit more research on this if I was technically a professional show. But I have shown it before on TikTok that they sort of not upsell. They have a, what's it called, drop ship. So they buy these in bulk from, warehouses in China. And they drop ship these and they sell them not as magic tricks, but as defensive weapons, which I think is dumb. If you buy this as a defensive weapon, you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure. So here, I think they used the Harry Potter staff. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, so she's trying to take out the staff and use it as a weapon. And here she gets stabbed. Okay. This is a great video. I hate being this fucking reaction guy, by the way. This is what I hate. And I mentioned this in the previous video. That I hate these reaction style videos. And I'm here like just doing nothing. But going, this is a good video. I'm really providing not anything on this. But I want to show you guys this. Because this was sent to me as an example of a magic prop being used as a self-defense tool. Which I think is pretty interesting in and of itself. Show up in my cane toss, says Grass-Fed Gary. My rod is sharp enough already. Also, what's the chance that thing opens up in your pocket? It's kind of hard because you have to press the rod in and then out. But I have had it open up in my pocket before, so it is definitely possible. We've reached the end, by the way. Not the end of the show, but the end of my topics when it comes to this. So now we're going to be looking at the comments. If you have any questions, concerns, comments. If you have any ideas or things that you want to go with in regards to magic, now would be the time to go through that. There's a Marvel hero that uses a metal staff. This is literally Marvel adults. Yeah, a little bit Marvel adult-ish, especially considering what are you going to do? Like in your head, you're going to make the staff appear and then flip it and then hit him and you're going to knock him out and be on a video and get blown. No, that's not the way it's going to work. Nancy Pelosi's stock knowledge of the stock market is the real enigma. Yeah, she's very projective. Illusionists are just a bunch of crybabies and thieves. They need to stop spamming my inbox. As for Ekaterina, as far as I know, she's only done a few things that Lloyd Barnes has shown. Says Warrior Poets. Well, they say otherwise. They say otherwise, essentially, that she's teaching stuff that technically they own the rights to. But I'm going to see if I could hanker down G and ask him. Maybe do a whole video on that particular endeavor. Or maybe just add that to this video that I chopped up. Right? So I might just chop this podcast up, talking about the whole thing, and then add that part to this video, or that video. You know what I mean? Fuck. God. Ugh. Which is the one about America? Is it this one?
What kind of America is this? Yes, put it on Facebook.
That works. That works. The jerk said to do Enigma, if they accuse you of peeking, use a center tear. Oh, of peeking a center tear. Okay. That works. It does work as an out. Steve Brooksy. Was yours about this clock guy? About this dude producing clocks? I just deleted it. Fuck, by accident. I don't know if that was your Steve Brooksy. But let's go back here. Haha, I had to take a call. So now I have to rewind to see you talk about your glasses. Yes, please do. Magicians focus on method. Piggy is wishing CBT from ECAT. Probably. I would let her kick me. Although I don't know how she'd look in shorts. I have to wonder that. Because I'm a leg guy. I like legs too. So I have to see how she looks in shorts. Yeah, the clock guy. Oof. Let me see if I could re-find that. Although I did close it on my incognito. So I might just save that for the next one. But you sent me a video. It was a cringe trick. You described it as cringe magic. And it was a gentleman that was very actively making clocks appear from a hat that looked like it had clocks hidden in it. But we'll see that on the next one. Pretty cringy. But I was going to mention that it was cringe, the email. So the email was cringe enough because it's like, hey, this is cringe. Check it out. And then I look at it and it's like this golden ratio of cringe. So that's something that I did want to address. Let's see. Hungry and Hungover says Adam Wilbur created pyro for illusionists. That was the best magic weapon. Illusionists should ship Ukraine a bunch of pyro to save U.S. taxpayers billions. Yeah, especially ones that just paid their taxes and is not happy about paying. Buy my book. That's what I'm getting at. The link is in the description section below, so you could mitigate the massive tax bill that I just had for no reason, especially considering the spending habits of the United States government. Buy my book. That's all I'm getting at. I do have pyro here, by the way. Let me reset my fucking video drivers again. But I'm sitting on a cigar box. This is what I would look like if I didn't sit on a cigar box, by the way. I look like a child. But I have pyro here. That Illusionist sent me. I made a couple videos of that. I also have pyro wallet. And I have vape through right here. I have this thing. I've mentioned this before. Oh, look, cigarette. Oh, I'm going to try to smoke it. Fuck, it jumps. Oh. And then pyro. Oh, also the phone vanish. I have the phone vanish thing. And some makeup. That's kind of weird. I don't know why I have makeup here. Right? Maybe some bitch left her makeup. What else do I have here? Some fake money, I guess. And the key from the How to Read Minds kit. So that's all I have down here. But I almost crunched my nuts just now closing that cigar box. But luckily, I do sit on it. So this is the view you get. If not, that would be the view that you would get. Holy shit, you actually have pyro. Yeah, they asked me to send, or they asked me for a list of products that they sent to me. And I sorted it by most expensive. So I sorted it by most expensive. I said, nope, I want that, I want that, I want that. I wanted the scorpion reel. They said, fuck no. Which I understood. I was pushing my boundaries there when it came to the products that they sent me for my videos for them. And I kind of pushed it with that. But I did get pyro. And I'm happy about that. I use it to start my barbecue. Bro, as someone who works IT, I hate that you have a Surface. No wonder you have to keep resetting your video drivers. No. I have a Dell XPS 15. And I keep resetting my video drivers because the monitor freezes on this laptop. I read that it was something with the refresh rate. Whatever. And every time I have something full screen, the monitor freezes. The actual monitor. The side one, and it's annoying, so I have to reset the video drivers. But I'm not streaming from this. This is not connected to anything. This is just where I read the comments. But yes, I know, especially a Surface Pro 4. So this is the old one. I think they're like by the 12 now. But it's very annoying when the screen freezes, and it stopped for a while when I think downloaded graphics, Intel Graphics Command Center, and changed the refresh rate. But now it's back with a vengeance. Pyro's a flamethrower, like a magician's pee-pee is to a normal man's pee-pee. Yes, that is true. First time I used it, it felt like a gun going off. It felt like I was shooting a gun, and I was surprised as to the timing of it. But I think it's fun. I think it's interesting, and it's cool if you have it and you fucking start a barbecue just by pointing your hand at it. Or if you're on the street and some, homie comes up to you and says, hey, man, give me that shit. You go, hey, give me a second. And then you press the remote. There's like a delay. So you just do this, and they go, what? And then by the time they realize anything, they got a fireball thrown at their stupid robbery faces. And then it gives you time to run away. So that works out. Piggy's a hobbit. I'm not a hobbit, all right? There's a coffee table, all right? And the coffee table is a little bit elevated. I'm on a cigar box. It'd be normal. You would also probably shut up, okay? Be better.
Be better. Be better.
Stop making fun of my height. Stop making fun of my height. It's not cool. All right? I'm going to start putting my pronouns in my bio from how much you're hurting me when it comes to making fun of my height. Go through here. I actually have a pyro. Yeah, the clock guy. Let's see. Show up in my cane tall. I already read that. My rod is sharp enough already. Says Steve Brooksy. Magicians get hard over method, but it's all about the outcome for the spectators. True. I always say that. Effect is king. Nobody cares about that. Piggy, have you checked out the Grail? I haven't checked out the Grail, but I did see a video performed by, let me get his name right. I met him in England. Great performer. Thank you, T-Mobile, by the way, for processing my, what do you call this? T-Mobile processed my monthly payment, and you guys have the worst signal. of all time. Thank you for that, for taking my money, but yet still putting me in places where I can't use my phone because of your shit signal. But what's his name? Armstrong? Something Armstrong. Roman Armstrong. He put a video recently performing a trick by Peter Nardi, Knock 'em Dead. And I was blown away by it on his Instagram. And I asked him, hey, man, I hate to be this guy, but can you tell me what the fuck that trick is? And he told me, Knock 'em Dead. And I found a way to do it with a normal deck of cards that you could have the participant deal the cards in your hand. They stop wherever it is they want. And, you have a card that is from a different deck. That's a prediction. And it manages to match the one that you had them stop at. So I figured out a method of doing that with a normal deck that doesn't require the gimmick for Knock 'em Dead. So that was my little iteration. I sent it to Peter Nardi. So let's see what he has to say about it. I think he's on a trip. But as far as the Grail, I have seen the Grail. I know they recently released the new anniversary edition or whatever. And it's one of those ridiculous tricks, I think, and you don't believe it. Now, the only problem from my understanding is that there are some gimmicks involved that you do have to sort of remember. You do have to adjust certain things from my understanding, right? Oh, look, let me take the cards out of the box. Wait a second. Like, there are certain things that you have to adjust, maybe. But if you want that clean effect where somebody names a card, somebody names a number, you take the cards out of the box, I don't think there's anything better. And it's definitely a fairly easy trick to do, apart from maybe the one thing. I mean, it's self-working, really, apart from an adjustment. And if that's the trick you're looking for, then by all means, get it. But I personally haven't ever had it. I just know what it is. And I've had it performed on me and also been molested by it before I knew what it was. JS in New York performed the Grail on his YouTube video. I figured JS is getting a lot of love, Jason Magic. I have talked to him briefly, but I think it was only about magic stuff. But he looks like my person. Like, he looks like... Well, actually, no, never mind. I don't want to say that. He looks Puerto Rican. My people are Cubans, and they don't like Puerto Ricans. But they look like Cubans. So he looks like my people, but he's not my people. So I might be wrong on that, but let me know. Crusade A-Can by Atlas Brookings is the best. They never tell you the card or the number, no gimmicks, no slights, and they deal. That sounds sexual. I'd be definitely interested in that to hoard to my Magic collection. I'm telling you, it fucking crushes, says Magic Buzz. No, I know, I'm sure. It crushed me when it was performed on me, and especially the fact that it doesn't take work at all. But I know that they re-released it, and they've added a bunch of little trinkets and stuff to it. But I think at the end of the day, just the can effect. It's mostly magician masturbation, really. It's a lot of magician just a lot of magician touching their balls. But as far as Knock 'em Dead, I saw that performance by Roman Armstrong on Instagram. And I couldn't believe it because it was so clean. He's dealing the cards face up. She deals it, and she stops wherever, and that matches the prediction. But obviously, there is a method to it. And it does require an entire deck. But luckily, your boy's smart, and I came up with a way to do it with a deck that doesn't have a gimmick. So that might be something that I put in the Art of the Squeal. That's going to be in the Art of the Squeal. Book coming, maybe at the end of the month. We'll see. Crusade is great, but the procedure kills me. I've never done it to sober people, and they always forget their numbers. I think you're also not sober when you do it. Hungry and Hungover. JS is a good dude. I would burn him. So I think that's a good show. We've been here for a while, an hour and 30, talking about magic tricks. I believe the next one is probably going to be on Wednesday, maybe tomorrow even. I might do another one in regards to the regular PigCast, but I might do another magic one at the end of the week. So I'll let you know. I have some Endeavor. Brother's dog is getting surgery. Every time there's something with a surgery and a dog, I'm not a fan because there's always the vets, and the vet tells you all these. It's like going in for a car. They tell you things. Oh, the Nancy Pelosi radar is off, so we're gonna have to pay this and that. There's always a nightmare. So I might have to do that Friday, but I know that I want to do another magic stream this week. But apart from that, I guess I should leave you with the normal advice that I give you, which is get my book. And also, Nancy Pelosi is partaking in a lot of insider trading, and her big boobs aren't enough to make up for it. So don't think, oh, Nancy Pelosi, you got big boobs. You're going to get away with that. Not with Piggy, especially after Piggy just paid a lot to the IRS. So